Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, you know what? I figured we'd start with something good today. As I'm sure you're aware, over the last few weeks, there have been an increasing number of video game-related employees of major companies talking about forming unions. In the QA world, it's happened twice now. Just recently, the QA for BioWare working on Dragon Age, and before that, the QA for Raven Software working for Activision Blizzard both created new video game unions. Well, in a pretty big win for future attempts at unionization, yesterday, Microsoft said it would respect the rights of Activision Blizzard workers to join a union and would enter into a so-called labor neutrality agreement with the Communications Workers of America, which has been helping the video game unions organize. And this is, of course, because last Friday, Activision Blizzard announced it was entering into a bargaining negotiation with Raven Software's QA team. And if Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard goes through, they will not just honor previous negotiations, but will respect the rights of these workers to make their own informed decisions about unions. It means we don't try to put a thumb on the scale to influence or pressure them. We give people the opportunity to exercise their right to choose by voting. It's something that's respectful to everyone, more amicable, and avoids business disruption, Brad Smith of Microsoft told the Washington Post. When asked about if the decision goes through and Microsoft employees are interested in unionizing, we will talk about how we go about organizing Microsoft employees as that happens, CWA President Christopher Shelton said. And I'm not saying that it's not happening as we speak, but we don't announce organizing projects. Microsoft's Brad Smith went on to say, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick and his company were not consulted on the terms of the agreement, although the company was aware that Microsoft and CWA were holding discussions. Good. In other news, we all love a good video game clapback. I, like so many of you, are waiting on the new God of War Ragnarok, and recently we got to see a ton of new accessibility features and other cool things that you can expect to see in the game that was originally going to be released this year. However, David Jaffe, former God of War director, claimed the release date was still to be determined, and there was like a 50-50 chance it would not be out this year. But then, just as people were recoiling from that, Cory Barlog, or Balrog as I always keep saying, retweeted the comment with, "Wait, what?" He then followed it with a few GIFs, and that was kind of it. So of course this sparked some debate about what the hell it actually means, if it means anything. Nothing was really confirmed about a release date, nothing was really denied about a release date. It was all kind of played for a goof, which I think the consensus online appears to be that everyone thinks it was just a joke about how everyone keeps saying the game's gonna be delayed, but others read it as more of him being slighted. I don't know. I tend to want to believe that it's just being playful. That's how I read it. But truthfully, even if the game, currently rumored to be released in November, is pushed back to February or April, honestly, that's fine with me. I'd rather they just get it right, you know what I mean? Unlike this tablecloth, which definitely should have been dried or ironed or something before we put it out. It's driving me crazy. You can see where it was folded. Ugh. And finally, in other game and miscommunication news, yesterday, Sony's new PlayStation Plus experience dropped, and with it, 3 new tiers of PlayStation service, with the premium tier getting access to the huge back library of games from PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP. And the fun news is that several of these games have been made available to non-subscribers for purchase as well. Hilariously, however, one of these titles may be at a price point that most players can't afford. Tekken 2 is a fan favorite, considered by many, myself included, to be a classic in the world of fighting games. I remember being in movie theaters waiting to see some mid to late 90s movie about how baddies have taken over a boat or a park or whatever, and like Seagal has to stop them, you know, 90s movies. But every time I would go to the arcade and I would play Tekken, and it was a blast. But of course, it eventually, like many fighters at the time, moved to consoles, in this case, PlayStation 1. But sadly, like most early games of this period, was lost to time once PS1 classic titles were made unavailable for modern consoles. But now, it's back for $10,000. That's right, you can get Tekken 2 right now for $10,000. Actually, of course, it's just a mistake, but fans found this hilarious, acknowledging that it is exactly the price one should pay for Tekken 2. Even Tekken director and famous goof Katsuhiro Harada joined in on the fun. But crazy enough, this isn't the only game this has happened to. It's happened before. It even happened last year to the RPG Greedfall. And although it looks like the issue has been resolved, for a brief and fleeting moment, we all got to wonder if someone actually bought it at that price. Surely no one would. But maybe? Before we wrap up today, I just wanted to say to all of you watching who are curious about, like, where's the Let's Plays and where's the VODs from Twitch and whatever, they're all over on youtube.com/CoxClips. I'm going to keep promoting it now because people keep asking where the stuff is, and, you know, I'm going to switch off between names and that now. Welcome to the promotion segment where I promote at the end. And then you can leave if you want. It's all good. Anyway, see y'all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.